here at PA Cyber. Want to thank you guys for inviting us out today. Very enthusiastic and excited to be here to present and kind of continue on what Ben Martin had spoken with some of you last week. I'm going to recap that, expand on that. And for some of you that are new, I'll kind of go over exactly what Rosedale Tech is, my role with the company, and then we're really going to focus on entrepreneurial aspects of options within the trades and just general growth within the city when it comes to tech and entrepreneurial opportunities, and just kind of a wide variety of things. But there will be some overarching themes that we're going to discuss today. A lot of it has to do with chasing your passion, discovering what best fit is for you, for your life and your career. But throughout, please feel free to ask questions. I believe we can type in questions to the other side here. I'll be happy to answer them as they come in. And we can also take some time at the end to address those then as well. So just quickly here, my name is Sean Baird, as I mentioned, with Rosedale Technical College. We are in Kennedy Township, which is about 7 miles west of Pittsburgh. We're here right now in East Liberty, so it's about, 10, 15 minutes here from the downtown area. So right near where I live. And again, not quite in the city, but not quite in the country either. So it's kind of the best of both worlds for our students that like that kind of environment. You're 7 miles away from the culture, the nightlife, the concerts, the sports, and then students spend more outdoor activities and rural activities. Again, there's game lands and things like that, just about equidistant heading the other direction. So again, we're a private, nonprofit trade school. We're a college as well. I mentioned trade school because that's really our main focus. We focus on really programs that are hands-on for the most part versus the classroom. So our 7 programs do include one of which is automotive technology. As I'm sure this might be a review for some of you guys, but I'll go ahead and go over it again. But automotive technology, which is really anything you think of diagnostic-wise for an automobile, brakes, alignment, transmissions, engines. That program essentially runs the whole gamut. Any make and model you can think of, our students will take on in that program. Diesel technology, very similar program, but bigger engines, bigger components, some agriculture equipment, construction equipment, things of that nature, as well as you also get your CDL license with that program, which means you can drive these trucks as well as work on them, turn the wrenches, and also be able to drive them. We're incorporating new kind of green energy technology into that program as well with biodiesel and green diesel. And I could talk more about that more in a second, but the basis of it is we essentially take the cooking oil from McDonald's, Wendy's, the fish fries in this area, and we'll convert that with some chemicals into reusable green biodiesel, green diesel. It's cleaner, more efficient, and it just kind of the way things are going. When it comes to green energy, our students will have that knowledge and training to kind of set them apart when it comes to the diesel technology job force. We also offer training in electrical technology. So if you're a student that's interested in becoming an electrician, residentially, commercially, industrially, we also focus on mechatronics and robotics in that program, PLCs, which are programmable logic controls. So a lot of little more high level when it comes to, so example of one of our graduates who has some PLC background and knowledge just recently got a job with PennDOT, and what he does is essentially service, I think it's from mile marker 13 to, I want to say like 185 on the PA Turnpike. Any of those easy pass interchanges, very heavy in PLC technology. And what he does is service, maintain, and repair those as needed. Another program we have is HVAC technology. That is heating, ventilation, air conditioning. Very, very, very high demand field right now, as is all of our programs, but we'll talk about that here more in a second. But excuse me, the major reason for the BLS, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, projects this trade to grow faster than any other over the next 10 years. Reason being, there was a major real estate boom in our country about 10, 15 years ago, and it kind of put us in the financial recession, economic crisis we faced there for a bit. While it was terrible news for our country, it's quite honestly pretty good news for HVAC technicians at this time, because all those furnaces, all those AC units, all those refrigeration units, that 10 to 15-year lifespan where they need to be serviced, repaired, or replaced is hitting right now, and there are simply not enough technicians to meet that demand. So You'll find that's the case in a lot of the things we offer, and we're going to talk about today, including industrial technician, which is our newest program, or our second newest program, I should say, kind of a jack of all trades in the industrial setting. And we also just launched last week a welding program as well. So, as you can see, very hands-on versus the classroom. But, the biggest, I guess, challenge for me in what I do in my job, I'll tell you a bit about what I do at Rosedale. I'm the educational outreach coordinator at Rosedale. So what I do quite a bit is things like this, talk to students that may have some interest in our school. But it's also what I do as well is kind of try to spread the word about changing the perception about trades and the type of programs that we offer and the careers that are available. Traditionally, I was told, most students are told that to be successful, to be rich, to make some money, you got to be head on the four-year path, a four-year school and college. And believe me, that is a path to success for a lot of people. I'm not saying it isn't, but it's just not the guarantee it once was. And we're seeing that more and more. There are just such a saturation of four-year degree graduates that are out there, and the jobs that meet those demands simply aren't there. So the supply for those applicants for these jobs are much higher than the available jobs. Conversely, I see our school, and it's just the opposite. We had 92% job placement last year, 98% diesel, 100% in HVAC. And these aren't jobs at McDonald's or Wendy's or Target. These are jobs within their field of study, within 3 months of graduation, all verified by the state. And I mentioned earlier we're a nonprofit, and that's one of the major components of why our job placement is so high. So as a nonprofit, our success is completely contingent upon the success of our graduates. So job placement is a massive component of what we offer at Rosedale. Two components I think that are paramount for us. One is training and educating our students at a super high level in the fields that we offer. And secondly is finding them jobs. So we've got connections with over 650 area employers in all the fields that we offer studying in. We establish connections with all of them. They literally send job postings to our job placement department daily, emails. We have job postings at our school that are in each one of our programs. So you can come up, take a look at the position, walk into our job placement office, say, Liz Lanchak is her name. I'd like to pursue this, or I have some interest in this position. What can you do for me? She'll call that employer, develop your resume, work on some interviewing skills, and go from there. So as a nonprofit, I'm kind of digressing here, but as a nonprofit, we really are focused on job placement and career placement. But what makes us different is versus, I think, a four-year school or anything like that, or really anybody, is that we really try to find students that want to be there, that have a passion for the programs they're entering. If you're a student that's maybe undecided of what they want to do and kind of on the fence, we may not be a good fit for you. We totally understand that. But I think to be successful, and we're going to talk about this more here in a second, is to truly kind of determine and define your passion. And that's one of the things I think or biggest piece of advice I can give to you guys right now is to do some research, do some exploring, and discern what your passion is. And once you discern that passion, chase it hard. It could be music, it could be business, it could be working on cars or becoming an electrician with us, whatever it may be, chase that passion with extreme vigor. I think that's what will make a person successful in life. So this is kind of the second slide. I don't know if it's going to come up here for you. Is really just kind of reiterating that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Fine. Just keep going. I'm trying to find it.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's this slide just essentially says, do what you're born to do, and that's what we try to encourage in the biggest way at Rosedale. Chasing your passion. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again, but waking up every day hating what you do is not, and you're making good money. I don't know if that's necessarily a picture of success, but if you wake up every day doing what you love, it becomes not work, but it becomes your career, your passion, and really your life. So we're in the business of trying to find students that are matching with their passions, and that's we're going to talk about here more today. So I'm going to recap again, just briefly, what Ben had mentioned last week for those of you who'd seen it, and I'll quickly touch on this stuff, and then we're also going to talk about the next generation of Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania in general, entrepreneurship and how it relates to the trades, and then developing a business plan. And I'm not a business teacher, so I'm not going to tell you the nuts and bolts of a business plan. But to me, when I'm saying developing a business plan, it's more develop a plan for yourself. You guys are young. You got time to figure it out. But it is a kind of a time to do some exploring and determining that. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. But so just a recap of last time, what we spoke about, the past, present, and future of trade schools. Trade schools were started in the late 1800s in response to the fallout from the Civil War, which became kind of the redevelopment of our infrastructure in our country, very, again, specialized in the trades, and it really became a necessity for our country to develop out of that time. And then again, in the 21st century, there was kind of a major resurgence with FDR adding a bunch of funding to specialize in vocational training. And you've seen since then, there's been CTEs developed, VOTEC schools, I should say, career training centers in the high school setting. That's a relatively new thing to our country, about 50, 60 years old. So those resources are super strong for students that know what they want to do again and work with their hands. What are my biggest challenges is that perception and changing that perception. When I was in high school, VOTEC and CTCs, a lot of times were kind of looked down upon as kind of like a fallback, or for a student that couldn't really handle the workload of what may have been the demands of a normal high school setting. What I'm seeing now is that it's just as advantageous, if not more so, to go to these schools, to at least explore them. These are for students, again, that know what they want to do and have a real grasp of what their future wants to be. And beyond that, we're going to talk about this more again. I keep saying that, but the economic structure in our country has really shifted to the point where being in the trades and having a skill in a trade environment is very advantageous this day and age, because no one's taking it on. No one wants to do it. Everyone kind of looks down and discounts it, when in reality, it's becoming more and more increasingly technologically advanced, very more high tech. And the money and the demand for it is all spiking. So it's really, for me, my job, or my, I guess, goal of what I do is to kind of just spread that word and make sure people are aware of that option. A lot of times students don't realize these options are out there. They overlook them. And this is more for me, is just to let you expose you to that and let you do exploration on your own, explore yourself. Again, we're not for everybody. I totally get that. Trades aren't for everybody, but it is an often overlooked option for students, and that they should be considering. We're going to talk again about this 1-2-7 rule. I don't know if you guys, I'm sure Ben kind of focused on that in a major way. That's kind of the new hot button term, skills gap. Mike Rowe and these guys are talking about it, and it's a real thing. But the 1-2-7 rule is, if you guys are bored later, YouTube it, punch it in. There's a really cool video on it. But what it comes down to is that it breaks down the projected jobs versus the varying degrees. So, for example, a person with a master's degree or a four-year degree or master's degree or above, for every one job they have that's available, there are 2 positions available for someone with a bachelor's degree. For every one job, for every one job opportunity for a person graduating with a bachelor's or higher degree, there are 7 opportunities available with the students graduating from a school like ours that offers specialized technical training. So that's flip-flopped quite a bit. The job market has really kind of changed to where technical and skill education is very, very much in demand, to the point where people just don't realize it. And again, that spikes demand, spikes salaries, and really just makes an exciting time for folks that want to work with their hands, not be strapped to a desk, and get involved and get out there. But the underlying theme throughout this I want to be open, explore, try to determine your path, do what you love, and then make a plan to get there. So again, we talked about today's topics will be next generation of Pittsburgh and the state, entrepreneurship, relation to the trades. And that when I say Pittsburgh, a lot of these slides are going to say, Pittsburgh entrepreneurs, or the trades in Pittsburgh. Think of it's Pittsburgh just as a name for a city that's growing because of technical development. It could be in Philly, it could be in Harrisburg, it could be in Erie. A lot of this development is economically and educationally, or whatever it may be, is all based upon what's happening in Pittsburgh. So think of Pittsburgh as kind of like a pilot or a model of what can happen and is happening, but it's not just by any means segmented to just to Pittsburgh. So finally, again, last thing we're gonna focus on here is chasing your passion, working hard and smart. I listened to this Mike Rowe I guess it was a YouTube clip, and he talked about when he was in high school, his guidance counselor had told him, there's a big poster on his wall, and talked about work smart, not hard. And it had a picture of a guy, I think, in a business suit, and a guy next to him covered in dirt, a mechanic of some sort. And it kind of really resonated with him, where his guidance counselor was saying, look, your grades are great. You don't need to be going down the path of being in the trade. You should really be going to, I think it was James Madison, or he's from Virginia, one of the schools in that area. But that wasn't his passion. He knew that he liked to work with his hands and chase that field. So he was kind of really informed by that experience, and he went down that path and realized what a mistake it was for him, a waste of time and waste of money. While there was certain value in it in a lot of ways, it didn't speak to what his passions were, and he learned that from that experience. So his biggest piece of advice is you got to work hard no matter what field you're in. You're going to work hard. But why not work hard and smart? And why not, to be successful, even if you're a doctor or lawyer or some sort of business mogul, those guys aren't working just smart. They're also working hard at what they do. So that is the kind of underlying common denominator. Working hard is going to be there regardless to be successful. Let's also work smart with it. Another thing I want to talk about is the perception is finally changing to meet that reality, where people are starting to realize that a 4-year degree doesn't necessarily guarantee a position or in a position of what they studied. Personally, I went to a 4-year school. I'll tell you a bit about my background. I went to Arizona State, went out west for a while. I studied creative writing and business, came out, and really my options were relatively limited when it came to what I wanted to do. I ended up bartending, waiting tables, managed a bar, moved back to Pittsburgh eventually, managed a bar here in Pittsburgh for a year. Loved that, but the hours were crushing, the money was good and everything, but it wasn't necessarily my passion or what I'd gone to school for. So I ended up kind of falling in this position I am right now. And is it my passion? It's becoming my passion. I think what I've really learned from it is it's exciting for me to kind of spread the word about, or even becoming a bit of a matchmaker between students and their passions, and opening their eyes to the other career options that are out there they may have overlooked. So yeah, this has become my passion, but is it because I got a 4-year degree? Yes and no. There's some, it's who you know in this situation as well, but it's also, what I studied didn't necessarily apply to what I'm doing right now is what I'm trying to say, where our students have direct application from their studies right into their careers. And also, be curious, ask questions, including me. If you have questions for me and you're wishy-washy on certain things, or anybody, your guidance counselor, your parents, whoever it may be, ask these questions, do your research. No one can tell you what the best fit is for you. You got to determine that for yourself. So the best way to do that is to explore and ask questions and be courageous when it comes to that. So let's get into kind of the nuts and bolts of what we're talking about here, the next generation of what's coming on the pike, we think, economically, and how it relates to the trades and the entrepreneurial aspirations. So this slide here, if it talks about the post-secondary median wage versus someone who just comes out with a high school diploma, there's always exceptions to the rule. There's gonna be a high school diploma or someone that graduates from high school that does exceptionally well without any kind of training, and we understand that. But generally, without some sort of post-secondary education or training, whether it be a diploma or a degree, associate's degree or bachelor's degree, whatever it may be, the numbers speak for themselves. The median income is about half with a high school diploma. So we do still see that there is great value in pursuing post-secondary education. So where are these jobs going to be over the next, 10, 20 years? Where are the jobs going? It's been a major shift. So Harvard just put this study out, and they predict in 2018 that the job market will break down as follows. 10% of all the job market out there, 10% will be taken up by employees with no skill or no training, or unskilled or untrained labor. So they come directly out of either a high school setting and go right into the workforce. 33% will require a 4-year degree or more, bachelor's degree or higher, master's degree. 57%, however, will require some sort of skilled training like we offer at Rosedale, specialized skilled training with either 1 year of experience or 2-year degrees, associate's degrees. So that's a major, major shift in the paradigm of our economic structure that people just quite don't realize. So nearly 2/3 of all jobs out there won't require a bachelor's degree or, a master's degree or PhD. They're only going to require an associate's degree at most. So that's a perception that, people don't realize that's out there. It needs to change in a major way, or at least be aware of it. I talked about earlier the demand that we have at Rosedale. It's already happening, especially our diesel technology students, our HVAC students, our electrical students. We literally get phone calls every single day from employers asking, when are these guys and girls graduating? We need more guys and girls in this field to meet the demand. The demand is there. It's just a matter of students chasing it and applicants getting after it and being aware of what's out there. Another great piece of advice. This is kind of coming full circle. I've said this about 3 times now, but choose your own path. Explore, determine what best fits you. I keep saying it, but I can't tell you that. Your guidance counselor can't tell you what the best path is. They can be great sources of advice and that kind of thing, but you have to make that decision for yourself. And there's a lot of ways to do that. So if you're considering a 4-year school or a school like ours, go visit them, go see them, any and all you can. We at Rosedale, we offer what's called a shadow day. And what that is you can come and live a day as a Rosedale student in any one of our programs, get your hands dirty a bit, meet some students, meet some instructors, talk to financial aid. We'll feed you lunch that day. That's a great option to kind of come see the school, take the school for a test drive. You walk out saying, hey, I could see myself doing this, or man, this is not for me. I realize that now. Either way is fine. At least you know. But I encourage that the same thing for any school. Pitt, Penn State, Notre Dame, IUP, CMU, Triangle Tech, whoever it may be. Even places of business. Let's say you want to go right into the workforce. Call these businesses up and ask if you can shadow for a day. A lot of them are highly receptive to this. Military even. Go meet with them, talk to them, and see if that's really the best fit for you. What kind of benefits you get from that. Again, those kind of being informed will give you power in making the right decision, I think, for yourself. Knowledge is cliche. As cliche as it is power. So take some power over your future and determine what best fits you. This is, again, I keep mentioning our guy, Mike Rowe. You guys know Mike Rowe, the guy from Dirty Jobs. He is like the biggest advocate for what I talk about now. And to be honest, I take a lot from his passion and what he's into. So I'm going to read this quote to you. He believes that we need a national PR campaign for skilled labor, a big one, something that addresses the widening skills gap head on and reconnects the country with the most important part of the workforce. The skills gap, Ben, I'm sure mentioned it last time, but it's what we're talking about this entire time when it comes to the trades. There are just copious amounts of opportunity in all of these, skilled labor workforce that people just aren't getting out or going after. They don't realize, I don't know if they don't realize they're out there, if they don't want to do it, but, or maybe sometimes people don't realize that they want to do it until they try it. But there are just major opportunity out there. And a lot of students that maybe even, test well and have good grades think that that's just below them. When in reality, they can come in and become entrepreneurs and make more and more money and be more successful doing what they like, rather than chasing that 4-year path that may not have the same opportunities. This is according to the BLS. This is a general kind of slide that kind of talks about the salary matching the job. So it's just, I guess, a bit of an eye opener, hopefully, for some people, that these are entry level salaries for a lot of these fields that may be overlooked. Again, I keep saying overlooked, or maybe just kind of looked down upon. But construction, extraction jobs, those guys and girls are looking at $46,000 at least a year entry level. Maintenance and repair technicians, $43,000 entry level. Healthcare related fields in the tech fields, $50,000 a year. Mechanical and welding between $36,000 and $39,000 entry level. If you're going to look at any entry level from a 4-year school as well, believe me, that's as much or more than I'm making in a lot of scenarios. It's exciting to see these wages going up. It really is to me. And it's also eye-opening to not realizing that this is what students make coming out in these fields. They don't realize that it's equitable financially to do these kind of things. So again, do your research, look these things up. And again, this might not be the thing for you, but there are other technical fields, medical, culinary, a number of options that could be a good fit for you. That's your passion. Realize it's not a fallback. It could be something you really chase and be very successful in. So the next generation, we're going to continue on this. over the next 8 years, there's expected to be a 10.8% nationally growth in our job sector. Of these jobs that are expected to grow, there are 15.6 million new jobs that make up that 10.8%. Of that 15.6 million, at least 6.6 million alone are projected to be in the health, tech, and the STEM fields that we're talking about today. So that, again, just kind of reinforces the fact that these jobs are here, they're here to last, and it's not just a kind of a flash in the pan kind of thing. I mean, think about, you can't outsource a good technician for, someone that needs a high level, whether it be automotive technician or a high level electrician or a high level HVAC technician. Those jobs can't be outsourced to third world countries or other countries, I should say, to do those jobs. That they have to be done here and done well. So they're always going to be here. They're not going anywhere. Now's the time to explore them. So we're going to talk about the new Pittsburgh. And again, think of, as I say Pittsburgh, think of Pitt is just an example of a city that's growing due to STEM fields and tech fields expanding. You can interchange Pittsburgh with, Austin, Portland, any number in the state here as well. Areas outside of Harrisburg in the eastern part of the state. Just think of Pittsburgh, when I say Pittsburgh, as any city that's kind of growing due to STEM and tech related fields. It just happens to be happening here on a major level, and it's kind of exciting to be a part of that. But right down the street from here right now, there's a place called Tech Shop. There's a guy I relatively know. He's making these 6-packs made out of wood called puzzle packs. It's just an example of the encouragement and the real support Pittsburgh offers entrepreneurs and people in the tech field. This happens, again, not just in Pittsburgh, but anywhere these things are thriving, there's more and more infrastructure to back it up and give support. So that is where people are investing, because that's where the economy is going, that's where the money's going, that's where the jobs are going. So you're going to see increased investment in nationwide in these fields, STEM, tech, etc.
Sean, all throughout the state, obviously,
Sure.
These types of jobs are growing, but and Philadelphia is a very similar market
Sure.
to Pittsburgh. We have a lot of students there as
That's
well.
right.
But I don't think a lot of students outside of Pittsburgh realize how important Pittsburgh is in the medical field.
That's right.
The hospitals, and how we draw people from all over the country and the world because of the hospitals we have here.
That's a great point.
In technology and medicine.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh's two biggest industries right now, far and away, are medicine and education. And it's increasingly becoming tech, but I'm glad you brought up medical fields. That is, again, it fits in our same kind of path when it comes to medical coding, medical research. There's all kind of options that come to it. The Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh here is world-renowned. UPMC, the system is phenomenal. AGH is here as well. But as he mentioned, there are countless increasing options and job opportunities in these fields right now in the medical fields. A lot of medical coding, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's a good point. Yeah, so New Pittsburgh, there's major developments, as he just mentioned, healthcare, energy, tech companies, manufacturing is growing, construction is growing, business startups, entrepreneurship. So I moved away from the city in 2001 and came back in 2007 or 8, I forget what it was. And I mean, leaps and bounds the city's made since I've come back. It's been a kind of a real renaissance. It's cool to be a part of it. And the reason being, a lot of it is due to the technical growth in medicine. Gas and oil industry is spiked some of that in some ways, just because of the job opportunities available to in technical availability because of that. Construction, business startups, it's all due to become that. It's become kind of a hotbed of growth and pilot programs for green energy as well. It's really in the midst of a renaissance that's exciting for any folks in the trades or in the medical fields as well.
And we talked a few weeks ago.
Sure.
With Marty, he was doing a little segment on film and acting in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, it's become another, kind of had a rebirth. I know years ago they shot films.
Yeah.
But because of the initiatives the city
that's
has
right.
taken, we're starting to see more of that. And with those types of things coming to the city, that opens up another window for all of these different fields, especially with construction,
Absolutely.
manufacturing.
And again, that's fits into chasing your passion. If your passion is film or production, there's opportunity here for that now too, with that tax incentive. I mean, how many movies are being filmed here now lately? I was an extra in a movie last year just for giggles, to try it out. It's an exciting time for all those things. So it's the underlying theme again here, I think, to me, is to chase your passion, chase what you want to do. And Pittsburgh is a place you can do that now. You really can.
I think people our age, after graduating from high school or college,
Sure.
we're tending to move away from Pittsburgh to find jobs.
That's exactly right. I did the same.
Now there's been a change, and we see people coming back and new people moving to Pittsburgh.
That's right. It creates a whole new culture of, young people are back and bringing their ideas from wherever they came from, and it's become an exciting spot to be.
Great to see.
Absolutely. So yeah, new Pittsburgh here. We're going to talk about here again really quickly. Major potential in tech areas that we discussed. Over 10,000 tech firms currently in Pittsburgh. That's very exciting news. It counts for nearly 300,000 employees in the area, $20.7 billion in payroll, and which is 1/3 of the total payroll in the entire region. So just to kind of reiterates the expansion and growth and opportunity that's coming with these jobs. Tech companies, again, we're kind of going to rehash this a bit, but PA Tech entrepreneurs are what I see mostly with my position and what I do. I'm seeing young guys and girls coming out 24, 25, 26, some older, but coming out, opening their own shops, whether it be automotive or high performance, or becoming an electrician with some friends that are doing residential work initially and expanding. But we've had 7, I think, in the past year alone that have started their own business. Again, at that same age group, doing what they love, waking up every day, being their own boss, controlling their hours, controlling their employees. It's super, super exciting to see students chasing their passion and creating their own careers because of it. It's really, again, it's invigorating for me. I see it every single day, and it's really kind of speaks again to the opportunities that are out there in these fields. With a school like Rosedale, with an associate's degree, and let's say you want to be an automotive student and work on cars. Our program isn't just working on cars. With an associate's degree, to satisfy that, you do have to take some general education classes. So some of those classes include some math and science. When I say that, it's generally very much applied math and science. So for automotive and diesel students, it'd be things like gear ratio and torque. But beyond that, you're going to take classes in small business management, entrepreneurship, developing a business plan, marketing. So those students that come out of Rosedale took that knowledge they had there with a base of it and got some experience in the field, worked in some shops, realized, hey man, I can do this on my own. I'm going to do it. Developed a business plan with the help of a lot of our instructors. Again, a school like ours, you can come back as a nonprofit, and we offer small business advice, classes, in addition, that are free throughout for graduates to help them develop business plans and get that going. But it just really speaks to the opportunities that are out there for students in these fields that want to get after it hard. So we're going to give examples again of some Pittsburgh tech companies. I'm going to kind of breeze through these pretty quickly. This is Aquion Energy. What's cool about this is I just saw a recent article from Elon Musk in Tesla, and they're coming out with these new battery sources that are very high tech battery storage components that can kind of really cut down on your energy bills and things like that. So Pittsburgh's kind of on the forefront of it. One of this company here is employing over 400 people in manufacturing and engineering. They raised over $100 million last year. And again, an example of where the tech, the trades are going. This company require many technicians as well as high-level engineers. So it's kind of a cross math of both. Cohere Medical, this one again in the medical field. This company is really cool. They kind of essentially created this glue gun for surgical procedures, whether it be cosmetic surgery for like tummy tucks, things like that, to glue those things back up, as well as general surgery procedures. It's worth over $75 million right now. It's here in the north side, and again, very much in the entrepreneur field as well as in the tech and trades. ModCloth is another company that we consider a tech company. CMU graduates started a few years ago. They've blown up. 509 employees are stationed in Crafton and have had made their imprint nationwide as well. For Moms, another Pittsburgh tech company that's blowing up. Robotic baby gear, including car seats and strollers. They have these really cool like PLC monitoring on their strollers and things like that to kind of alert moms if the baby's out of position or things like that. But beyond that, it's just an example of, again, entrepreneurship in Pittsburgh blowing up in the tech fields. So the next generation tech firms create jobs in other key sectors beyond just their exact specification of what they offer. Manufacturing grows from that. We just talked about For Moms. Energy companies grow because of them. Healthcare and life sciences and continue to grow. And then finance and business is all windfall of technical and trades entrepreneurs growing in a major way. 60% of all the jobs posted last year in Pittsburgh required some sort of technical expertise or training or certificate or diploma. That's 12,000 jobs that were available to students that had that kind of training. So again, it just speaks to the demand that's out there. This is a quick quote. Again, I keep saying New Pittsburgh, but consider this as just a quote that could really be generalized to any sort of growing job or city that's growing because of this job sector. But manufacturing is something that Pittsburgh is known for. It meant one thing 100 years ago. It was labor intensive. It meant steel and heavy machinery and things like that. Today, it's changed quite a bit. Today, it might mean advanced manufacturing techniques, small batch manufacturing, manufacturing on demand. So when she thinks that the phrase, the New Pittsburgh, that's what she thinks of. Our strengths, our retooling, advanced manufacturing provides these opportunities. So she sees a future where more of these manufacturers are here to partner with these startup businesses. So what that means is the things that we're training our students for will fit right into what's growing right now in Pittsburgh when it comes to manufacturing, smart manufacturing, clean manufacturing, specialized manufacturing. Our students fit that bill. So that's one of the reasons as a nonprofit, we kind of teach the things we teach. We teach what's in demand, and those are the things that are in demand. So that's, again, if you're a student that knows what they want to do and has a career path set in mind that might be hands-on or in the fields that we offer, we'd be a good fit for you. Otherwise, look around for what the best fit is for your passion, whether it be, again, business, culinary, music, science, law, medicine. Do your research, determine what the best path is to get there, and then chase that in a major way. This quote is from Barack Obama, and this is in response to, they came for the G20 summit here in Pittsburgh in 2008, and that kind of really put us on the map, I think, or internationally, I guess I should say. Pittsburgh had this perception, I think, for a long time of being a dirty manufacturing steel city, coal, whatever, iron, whatever it may be. Now it's kind of transformed itself, and he talks about that here, into high-tech innovation, including green technology, education, medicine, like we talked about, research and development. Pittsburgh provides a beautiful backdrop and example of what the new workforce will be and is. So be excited if you're in PA, in Western PA, in Pittsburgh. We're on the cusp of what's coming in the new economy. We're there. We're getting there, I should say. And now's the time to take advantage of it and look after it. So let's focus a little more on entrepreneurship. I got these two slides from that show Mark Cuban, the Shark Tank. I'm not a huge watcher of it, but I'm told it's very popular. But we'll get into what entrepreneurship really is and what exactly it means. So entrepreneurship is one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risk of a business or enterprise. You're the king of your court. You are the boss. You're the HR person for the most part. As a small business entrepreneur, you're the one who calls all the shots. So you're someone who sees problems as opportunities and then takes action, like starting a business, for example, to solve that problem. You're doing what you want on your terms for a lot of times. So we're going to get this here in a second, but if you want to be an entrepreneur, don't think that failure is not part of it. Failure is a major component of becoming an entrepreneur. It's one of the other things I like to really encourage and tell students about in my presentations and classroom visits and guidance visits is that I think we're told too often that we're discouraged to fail. My advice is I encourage students to fail and be okay with it and think of them as learning experiences rather than some oh man, I feel like this is over for me. I need to walk away from this. You really need to kind of take these failures as learning, again, learning experiences, teaching tools, and what can you do better from next time? Because listen, the first time you're going to go out and do something, don't expect it to be a winner the first time through. Failing is part of the process. And again, I encourage students to fail, not try to fail, but encourage to be okay with failing, I should say.
Like this. I just wanted to point
Please.
out, I think that's a great point that you brought up about failure and how many times you attempt something before seeing success.
That's right.
And we were discussing this exact same thing at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and the teacher presenter was saying her classroom, she would keep a tally on the chalkboard of mistakes or failures that she happened to have in the classroom.
Yes.
And she encouraged the kids to go up and put a mark for mistakes, failures that they had throughout the week.
Right.
And then to kind of go back and correct that and show how you learn from those mistakes.
That's right.
I think the biggest point there and what we should all be encouraging students to do from a very young age is to recognize those failures, embrace them, and learn from them.
That's right.
Because your biggest success is going to come from hard work and trying to overcome the obstacles that you've had in the past. So,
that's right. I think you put it better than I did. I mean, I'm not saying my advice isn't I encourage you to fail.
Right.
My advice is to embrace that failure and learn from it, and realize that's part of the process. Essentially, don't think of it as an end all be all. Should something you're really passionate about fail the first time. I'm telling you, any major successful entrepreneur has definitely dealt with rounds and rounds and rounds of failure before they've reached their and varying levels, but before they've reached their success. And they continue to face failures on a daily basis, from what I understand. So high risk, high reward, but don't be afraid to fail. That's a big piece of what we're talking about here.
I can't think of the quote off the top of my head, but I know there's one out there from Ben Franklin talking about the number of failures that he had
Yeah.
opposed to how many successes.
It's funny you bring that up because a couple slides ahead here, I think it's the guy from where is it? We'll get to it in a second, but PayPal. He's got a story about that. He failed numerous times, but he looks at it as that's how he got where he was. That's the way he developed his business model the way it is now because of all his failures previous to that.
Yeah, 999 failures. Now, one success is what.
Right. Right. That's exactly right.
Get you to that end point. It's all worth it.
It's all true. So, entrepreneurship, have an idea, go with it, and then do the research, develop a business plan is essentially the next step. These are all can kind of be, not necessarily placed in this exact order, but network with others, know your business or product or idea inside and out. Be an expert in what you want to do in a major way. Get investors, start fundraising if that's something you want to go down, and then make your idea a real business from that. It's a general concept, and we keep saying it, but you can't be afraid to fail when it comes to this kind of stuff. You're not gonna come off launching the best idea off the pad. You gotta embrace, again, I keep saying this over again, but embrace the failure and learn from it. This next step is this kind of just reiterates that, you start, you think, you do some analysis, you plan, you try, you do again, you keep on doing. And again, so success comes after all these attempts and doing. That's the biggest thing, is getting back on your horse and doing it again. That separates those who are successful from those who aren't, I think, in a major way. I watched this is kind of a side point, but I watched this documentary not too long ago. It's called Euro Dreams of Sushi. It's on Netflix if anybody's seen it, but I took a lot out of this. It really kind of affected me, but the biggest thing I took from it was, number one, this man truly found his passion, clearly, but he never, ever, he always strived to get better every single day. And he was very specialized in what he did. And by no means did he not face failure or have his challenges or have his pitfalls throughout his career, but he's considered by unanimously essentially as the best sushi chef in the world. He's got a small place in this train station in Tokyo, but he's never satisfied. He's always looking to grow, always looking to improve his process. And that's something that really kind of invigorated me and kind of made me realize that's the way people should live in a lot of ways, is realizing their passion, chasing it, and always striving to improve. And that comes through increased training, education, networking, that kind of thing, and be really invested in your passion. That's the main key for it. So what are some reasons to become an entrepreneur? There's a plethora of it. Create your own opportunities. You can work your own schedule. You can work with people you like, where you like. Develop and sell products and services that you love and don't feel that you've are some empty shill for something. You can actually have some ownership and some pride in what you're doing and selling. You can solve problems and make a difference. You can do what you believe in, and at the end of the day, be your own boss. That's the major advantage, I think, to being an entrepreneur.
If you don't mind,
please.
Kind of, as we were going along, and we were kind of answering some questions.
Sure.
But that was one that we discussed at the end of last week, and I kind of wanted to bring up again while we were on that slide, is the opportunity to own your own business and become your own boss. You look at a lot of four-year school programs, for example, I'm a teacher in school for education.
Sure.
And you have a direct path. You know where you want to end up after graduating and kind of career you'd like to have.
Sure.
However, it seems like whenever you go to school for a trade or you master a trade, the opportunities to advance and become your own boss are even better than they are with most four-year degrees. For example, if you're a friend of mine is an electrician, went to school, master's, license, job, and people are coming to him with jobs on the side for work.
That's absolutely right.
So many, couldn't manage them, started passing them off, and the overhead is so low. You don't need a storefront.
That's right.
You build your business through word of mouth.
That's right.
You have a truck, you have your tools. The possibilities are limitless.
It truly is limitless. A lot of our instructors at Rosedale, especially in electrical and even automotive and diesel, HVAC of course too, they will teach during the day 8 to 2 and then have side jobs for that. They've had consistent customers that they'll just do when they want to do it. And it's just, I was talking to one of our instructors, this guy named Lou, he's master electrician. He told me that he saved every single paycheck he's worked at Rosedale, just put it away, hasn't even touched it, and just relies on his side money, side jobs. And it's like 4 days a week he'll pick up some side jobs. He's already got this house in Costa Rica he's building, he's retiring. I mean, this whole plan for him. But like you said, opportunities are limitless. Once you start your own business and you start developing a clientele and that kind of thing, the demand for electricians and HVAC and that kind of thing is not going away. And if anything, it's spiking. So kind of the old guard when it comes to a lot of these positions are retiring. A lot of turnover right now. And the opportunities there are really, really amazing. I mean, I don't have like the technical skill to necessarily do these kind of things, but if I were to become unemployed tomorrow or something like that, I would absolutely consider getting into it and seeing if I could do it, because I see our graduates coming out making double what I'm making and they're 19, 20 years old. It's an exciting time.
I say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of came up with the micro slide. Dealing with the entrepreneurship.
Sure.
And that's something that students are interested in. I think these job opportunities in the field are a really good way to become your own boss.
That's right.
And before you know it, you're hiring people to work.
Sure.
Your business. But I guess the direct question.
Sure.
Got off topic a little
bit. No.
What fields would you say are maybe the best fields to get into if that is your ultimate goal, to build up your own small business and take a shot at being? Sure.
So from what I've seen, as far as the most lucrative and opportunity-wise, HVAC. You'll drive by pretty much any one of these HVAC places lately. You'll see now hiring or we'll train you. There's such demand for it. And not only here locally, but nationally. That's going to be, if you're willing to travel, especially with HVAC, going out south or out west, where all that expansion happened, all those AC units out in Arizona and California. And I mean, if you have the skills and the knowledge to do it with the business acumen a little bit, you can blow up with that kind of stuff. I mean, we're seeing this one guy just left, went down to Florida, opened his own HVAC operation, 28, I believe. He's got 12 employees now. They have 12 trucks. And he cannot keep up. He cannot service enough people in time. The demand is so high. He's trying to hire new people. He just can't meet it. And that, I mean, it's exciting. It really is. It's just, again, this isn't for everybody. We totally get that. You got to, want to do it and have the aptitude to do it. But if that's a fit for you, opportunities there.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it made me think. I noticed a little bit last week too. But as far as those HVAC electrician, for example, those are jobs that are always going to be there.
They're not going away. They're not going away.
Heater, air conditioner, like I did when I bought my house 10 years ago.
Right.
Get that installed. You need maintenance.
Absolutely.
Maintenance.
And how much do you pay when that guy comes out? Yeah.
Right. You're going to need a new one eventually.
Yep.
It's going to break down. You need work done on it. So
right.
Those jobs keep coming back.
And
if you do a good job, you get repeat customers.
That's right. And beyond that, a place like Rosedale, those fields do evolve and adapt in a major way. For example, in HVAC right now, a big push now is to lower your costs as far as electrical costs or gas costs, whatever it may be. One way you can do that is through thermal heating. And what that is essentially like piping throughout your floor in your house, hot water, and the heat rises, and there's no outlets or anything. You shut off your electrical, your furnace, it's all shut down. It's expensive to install, but in the long run, you save yourself some money. Our students are learning that kind of stuff now because that's what's coming down the pike. Same thing for like selective heating in rooms. There's now technology where before you flipped on the furnace switch and the whole house lit up, let's say you have a big house, you're heating half the house inefficiently because no one goes in there at that time. You can actually select rooms now to heat, save money that way, and it's greener. And we teach those kind of things because the industry tells us to teach that kind of stuff. We have advisory boards that come in 3-4 times a year in all of our programs, all made up of employers and industry experts that say, let's take a look at your curriculum. This is good, but you need to add this because this is what's coming down, and our guys and girls that come into our field don't have this knowledge. If you give them this knowledge, they'll get a job right away, that kind of thing. So it's always adapting.
I know kind of answered most of the questions, or at least in a roundabout way, but I just had more come in from a student.
Yeah, please.
Would you say that percentages of your students that come in, do they typically looking to get a position, learn, go to work for somebody in a company, or do you see students that come in there with the idea that they want to learn the skill and be their own boss?
Immediately after graduation? That's a great question. I'll be honest, it's relatively rare for a student to come right out of Rosedale and open their own business. It has happened. I'm not saying it hasn't, but we generally encourage a student coming out of a field like ours to get 3, 4, 5 years experience in the field. Could be working for a big company or a mom and pop shop or whatever it may be. Just get some experience in the field and then take that knowledge back with you to it, because that'll inform how you develop your business. Like you can take from bigger companies, they did a lot of stuff right that I want to take with me, but then there's other stuff I did not like they did. You can kind of change that to augment, to fit your business plan. That's, I think, the most beneficial way to enter that field as an entrepreneur, to get some experience out there and learn from mistakes and what's good and what's bad, that kind of thing.
Good point.
Yeah.
Ben said last week, which kind of goes along with what you're saying.
Sure.
You get out there and you work for somebody else. You're not only necessarily learning the trade, but you're learning how to deal with customers.
Absolutely.
Different issues
Absolutely.
that come up, and building those relationships.
Soft skills are invaluable. That's a really big thing we try to push at Rosedale lately in our curriculum is developing customer service. That's actually a class we've taken is taken by our students, is soft skills, writing, business plans, not business plans, but like writing the bills in a constructive way, explaining the bill, explaining the process of what we did, the soft skills, customer relations, as you talked about. I'm not saying it very well, but those soft skills that are essential to make the business grow and to get that word of mouth spread and that kind of thing.
So even if they are taught in the classroom, you have an understanding or
Yeah.
something like that, real world experience.
That's
to take
absolutely right.
back,
That's absolutely
and
right.
your business is only going to benefit from seeing how other similar
Exactly, exactly. And we encourage as much real life work as we can on campus, and then our students do get opportunities to go out in the field and work with actual companies that are within their field of study. Yeah.
No, we're on. We're at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I didn't
So
check
I was
the
gonna
time.
let you go. If you want to take like
Yeah, please. Any
3 minutes
questions?
or 5 more minutes, and we'll wrap up the questions. We'll just give you time to kind of say anything else you'd like to say and wrap up.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate the time you guys gave me today.
Thank you.
Sorry?
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. But feel free to take a few minutes.
Yeah,
to say anything that we didn't get to cover.
No, the last few things I'll just mention. Yeah, biggest point takeaway is, chase your passion. I think that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you. It's not an easy process to determine your passion, but do that research. Now's the time to determine that, and you decide that for yourself, not anybody else. And again, just realize that trade schools and schools like such as ours are not, again, some sort of fallback or something to look down upon. There are real opportunities in it, and something you might want to explore. Again, we're not for everybody. We totally get that, but if you're a person that likes to work with their hands or not be strapped to a classroom, or likes to see a completed project after you've done it, we could be a good fit for you. And one way to do that is to determine that, I should say, is to do your research. Come out and see us. Email me, call me, text me. My number is on one of the slides. I can email it to anybody they'd like. Our website's a great resource, rosedaletech.org. Facebook has all kind of videos and our shops and labs, I should say. YouTube, another awesome resource. But again, any school you're considering, us, a four-year school, military, workforce, go explore yourself. That's the best piece of advice I can give you, is to experience it and then come back with an informed decision you can make from there.
All right, Sean, I want to say on behalf of PA Sauber and Gift in particular, thank you very much for coming today and giving us your time. You have a lot of valuable information, and
Good.
Kids were very interested. That's why we kept you a little longer.
No, good. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Love to have you back again.
Love to do it again. Thanks for having me. Just click here.